Well, I'm going to do my best to show a few clips from the news stream that we watched yesterday when they were showing the new details about the case or whatever. And I'm like you, Brother Darrell, no, it is not televised enough. There's not enough people talking about it. We have so many people that are on these YouTube channels, they call them YouTube streets, talking about this, and that, being petty back and forth with each other when this topic right here is something that's very serious that touches all of our lives because that's someone's son that was killed and murdered. Someone's potential father that he'll never be able to have children. Somebody that actually took care of his family that was not a threat to society at all. And yet he was gunned down like he was Alice dog in the street. And we have a lot of these people, Caucasians or whomever, dog lovers, they're only concerned about if the dog is being traumatically, if something traumatic happened to his dog that was in the home with him. I think that's something that is just so stupid. That really just got on my nerves to hear them asking about how the dog was doing. There is a black man who is dead right now that his parents had to bury yesterday. And you guys are talking about a dog? There was no
They
harm done to the dog. So that means, just like my husband always say, you guys will go in and rather the life of an animal is more important than the life of a black man. That just doesn't make sense to me. And like I was saying earlier, yeah, we know us. I'm a mom. I have three kids. And that would break my heart if one of my children were gunned down and murdered like that. But don't leave out the father that is grieving also. That man that was standing up there on that podium with them, he is grieving. He lost his son too. But I was so thankful to that woman, his mom, for what she said. Because in regards to her son, she was saying that he was his dad's namesake. This young man didn't go around tainting his father's name. He stood on principle. He made sure that he made a reputation for himself that preceded anything that these people are trying to say about him now. There's nothing that they can say about him. He wasn't a criminal. And then you want to declarate this officer who came in and just callously killed this boy. He murdered him. There's no ifs and buts about that. He literally took this guy's life without a second thought about it. And like you were saying, Daryl, that was very callous of him to stand over this man and talk like he did in no regards, calling this guy a suspect. He wasn't even a suspect. A suspect to what? He was at home minding his own business. You were at the wrong door with a white woman standing behind you, watching you literally shoot and kill this man with no remorse. She had no feeling whatsoever about what happened to that young man. Nothing. I'm not gonna get out emotional about it, but I am gonna do my best to try to present and show some clips from YouTube. So if anybody else want to talk while I'm doing this, you are more than welcome to chime in. Brother Kurt, we hear you. Thank you for joining in.
What up, Dirty?
Hey, what's up? Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear
All
you. I'm gonna
right.
share my screen with y'all. Go ahead, Kurt, and chime in if you want to.
Man,
You
I
can
was
chime
just
in
really
on.
just listening, trying to get a gist of the conversation. I've been trying to get on this, StreamYard. So, uh, man, I think I'm just going to observe because it's not tough for me to sympathize and uh, empathize with what happened. I mean, we've seen it. It's just that I'm interested in you guys that are parents. I'm trying to absorb some of y'all's perspective so maybe I can have something to add to that because I've only been the son. Now, what I can speak from is having encounters by the police and them thinking they were going to take my life and me having to do what I had to do. And I've been on trial 2 times in my life for uh, some serious crimes concerning assaulting police officers. But in my world, I was trying to survive a confrontation with the police. So from that perspective, I do consider a lot, but I don't want to sound like I'm special. I think it was just a situation where I survived situations because God wanted me to be here, not because of nothing I did. So to be able to survive as many encounters and a couple of violent encounters with the police, I'm just interested to get you guys' perspective, because I really don't know what I put my parents through by my rambunctious, impulsive actions and just plain arrogant and ignorant sometimes. I mean, everything wasn't my fault, but my part in it, I've owned it over the years. But it's just really interesting to hear you guys that are parents, your perspective, because there's going to come a day where the youngsters are just going to shoot first. You can look through any ancient society. At some point, when you're being terrorized by someone, there's going to be generations born that don't have no respect for any authority or for life. And that's where we're headed. But I'll shut up. And I just want to kind of absorb the conversation, because I don't want to just walk in and, take over anything. But yeah, it's interesting to me.
Curdy, I agree wholeheartedly, man. This is a much bigger situation. I mean, we're looking at this one situation, but it's happened so often. I mean, this black man was in his home. I remember a few years ago, it was a police officer that went into the home of another young man. He was in there eating ice cream and watching TV in his underwear. And a woman police officer says that she thought that she went into her own apartment and shot him dead, when she was actually gone. She was a floor above and went to his apartment. We see this all the time. And like my sister said, she said people are looking at this young black man that got killed, and they're more worried about the dog. We live in a country where a black man's life is less important than a dog being traumatized, and it's absolutely crazy. But nothing will change until we change it. And we have to all come up and stand together and change to change this. And we have to care. But in order for us to care, we have to, like I said, man, I had not heard anything about this, right? But I've seen that P. Diddy video 100 times of him beating up his wife or his girl in the hotel room in the last few days. That's what we think is important. That's where our attention is. That's what gets all the clicks. If you look at how many people looked at the video of this young man being shot and how many people looked at the P. Diddy video, you'll see that the disparity is huge. And that starts with our culture. Yes, they can treat us this way because we don't stand together, because we don't care about each other, because we're not, we don't stand up. They couldn't do this to any other group. They couldn't do this to any other group. If that was a Jewish man that got killed, oh my God, there would be consequences and repercussions. If that was a white man that got killed, a white boy that got killed who had done nothing but protect his family, oh my God, there would be issues, consequences, and repercussions. Even if it was a Hispanic man that got killed, there would be so many Hispanic people standing out, rioting. There would be, man, listen, this young man got shot, and our college students are outside picketing and doing all this stuff for something that's happening a half a world away. And this happened in our backyard. This happened right here. And we're not going to see any college students out there fortifying themselves and saying that something needs to change about this young black man, this young black airman being shot by a police officer. They don't care. We don't care. So it's going to keep on happening. People will do what you allow them to do. And as long as we allow them to do this and we don't care about it, they're going to keep on doing it. Nothing has changed. Daddy gave me the same speech about police officers. Boy, when a police officer pull you over, keep your hands in sight. Don't, don't, yes, sir, no, sir, do all this stuff. And then here I am 30 years later giving the same speech because I'm teaching my son how to drive. And I'm giving that same speech to my son. Hey, man, if a police officer pull you over, yo, you be respectful. Yes, sir. No, sir. You don't argue back. You don't say anything that can rile up that police officer. Why is it that I have to give the same speech 30 years later? We haven't had any sort of progress. What are we talking about?
That's true, man. The egos, you can't talk back. You trigger them in any way, then they'll go hands-on quickly.
They will kill you and get off. And then we, as a people, because we're so loving, we get on there and forgive the folks for doing it. I heard the mother speak, and the mother was like, listen, she said something about, everybody makes mistakes, just say the truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no.
Yeah, but how long
did
it take us to learn that?
I know. That's what
compared
I'm saying,
to your average nigga.
That's what I'm saying. Look, it took time for us to get, but that's something that.
But that came from us.
But yeah, that's true. So I'm gonna show right now the clip from yesterday that they televised on YouTube about the I'm gonna let them talk about the newscast. They're gonna talk about the timestamp and everything about the 911 call. So I want everybody to just listen to this or whatever. So I'm gonna start it right now. Hopefully you guys can hear it.
16 hours, 28 minutes, 45 seconds when they have the interaction with the woman who we believe is with the leasing office of the apartment. The deputy walks outside to meet the woman in the parking lot. The deputy says, "Are they fighting or something?" The woman says, she was saying that it happens frequently. The deputy says, okay. The woman says, but this time it sounded like it was getting out of hand. The deputy at 16:29.09 seconds says, okay, which door? I paused there for emphasis because her response is, I'm not sure. She continues on. 2 weeks ago, I was walking by their apartment, basically on this side, and I was hearing someone yell, like, shut the F up, and you stupid B word, and all this other stuff. And I heard a slap, like right after that. But I wasn't sure, second time, where it came from. The deputy says, okay. And the woman says, and I couldn't call, I didn't want to call the police. The deputy then says, which room is it? And now this third time, she says, 1401. The deputy says 1401, okay. The woman again affirms 1401. But the girl sounded scared. The one that called, she said she was like, it's getting out of hand. It sounds like it's getting really out of hand. And so that obviously
So I'm gonna pause right there because with that, what they're saying is this is the office lady. See, I missed that yesterday. I didn't know that it was the office staff that was the one that called in. She actually took them up there to that boy's apartment, and she knew that it was not the right apartment. If she worked in that leasing office and she knew that boy stayed there by himself, she already knew this about. And maybe she didn't because the apartment complex may be big. I don't know how big it is. But what I'm saying is she lied. And she stood there the whole entire time this cop was standing there shooting this boy. I'm gonna let it play on just a little bit longer because he's gonna get into a little bit more details about the way the police was standing behind the peephole. So let's play it just a little longer.
Talk a lot about how they got to 1401. And so he got on the elevator. The deputy said, so just hit number 4, huh? And the woman says, yeah. The deputy says, okay. He asked, will you do me a favor? Will you stand out there and direct the deputy that's coming through this area? Woman says, okay, it's like you're going to go up to the 4th and it's going to be on this side. Deputy says, got you. Deputy says, got you. Then the deputy says, 312-111. Deputy radio call again, 312-111. The deputy goes to door E1401. It's important. They say this is domestic disturbance going on, but watch the body cam video and more importantly, listen to the body cam video. You can hear birds chirping. Deputy knocks loudly and then steps to the side out of the view of the peephole. If it's the police knocking and you want the person inside to know you're the police at the door, why are you stepping out from in front of the peephole so they can see who it is? The deputy knocks loudly and steps to the side out of the view of the peephole. 16:31 at 18 seconds. You hear Roger's dog, Chloe bark. 16:31:41. You hear a voice. Unsure who's the voice or what it says, but you hear a voice. And then the deputy knocks again and steps to the side again in the video. Then the deputy knocks and says, sheriff's office, open the door. Deputy knocks again, steps back into the side again. Don't really understand what's going on. But he said, knocks again, says, sheriff's office, open the door. 16:32 at 01 second.
All right, y'all, I'm going to stop that one and I'm going to go to this body cam footage, the dash cam footage.